Hello and welcome to another episode of Between the Studs. I am your host, Daniel, and I am joined today by Garrett and Randy. And today we are bringing back a sort of video series that we've left on the floor for a while, but we are bringing back a theme versus kind of video here where we are comparing, contrasting, ranking, and determining the best out of a series of very similar LEGO themes throughout the years. So you can check out some of our previous ones that we've done. We'll link them down in the description. We did one, we did Power Miners versus Rock Raiders. Yep. We did Ninjago versus Monkey Kid. And then what was the three-way one? I think it was the Agents. We did Agents versus Ultra Agents versus Alpha Team. Okay. So we're doing another three for today. Yes. We are primarily comparing Monster Fighters and Hidden Side, but we're also going to throw in the Studios Monsters sets, again, as kind of the first foundational theme for this sort of spooky theme here. So we're going to compare all these different three spooky themes amongst 5 categories. We'll be talking about the minifigs, both good and bad, as well as the set design, the play features, and the story/lore. So each of us will rank each of these themes on those categories from a scale of 1 to 10, and then we will determine the indisputable best theme. So, without further ado, who's representing what themes today?
I got Monster Fighters.
Randy's representing Monster Fighters.
Yes.
I will be talking about Studios.
And I'm taking over Hidden Side.
Garrett's doing Hidden Side. So let's each talk just very briefly a little bit about kind of what our personal connection with these themes are, what our background is, maybe if you collected them as a kid or if you collected them later in life, what you were drawn to about them. So why don't we start with you, Randy?
Okay, great. Well, my favorite themes are always the spooky ones, so I kind of feel like I'm picking my 3 favorite children right now. But the first full collection I've had is Monster Fighters. I didn't start collecting.
You have every set?
I have every set,
Wow.
all the poly bags, all the accessories, even I got it from here. It's a cardboard little paper
Frankenstein
head to go around. So I'm very proud of it, and I'm very excited about it. And I started collecting later in life, not so much as a kid. Yeah. And my grandparents just had kind of a table of random Legos everybody played with. Yeah. And so when I started working here, and just a little bit before actually, I had a couple Monster Fighter sets already, and then I was able to collect the whole thing. So getting
Monster Fighter is an expensive theme to be a completionist.
It is, especially later. The haunted house. I got that. Let me tell you, little tear to my eye when I got that come through. Yeah. So
now hold on. All right, I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit here. Do you have the castle with the glow in the dark stickers or with the regular stickers?
I had it with regular stickers, and then I was gifted the glow in the dark pieces with pieces that already were stuck on, but they were stuck on perfectly. So I just swapped them out.
Good. All right, Garrett. How about you? What's your personal attachment or connection to Hidden Side? Would you say?
So I did not know Hidden Side existed when it came out.
Okay.
I was not into Lego at the time.
Because what was the first year of Hidden Side?
2019.
Okay, so really very recent. Yeah. This is a later one. Do we have any first wave?
Ghost Train should be first wave, I want to say. Yeah, 2019.
2019, okay.
But so I didn't know this was a thing when it was going on. I didn't know about Hidden Sides until it retired. And even once it retired, I still saw these boxes around, and it was like, is that a Lego set?
Yeah. Now, box art is not a category we're ranking today.
Yeah,
so
we're gonna put that.
Hidden Side may actually do okay. I'd be worried if
once I did finally give a Hidden Side set a chance, oh man, they're really, really fun. Yeah. Again, I love all the spooky sets. I love anything spooky. My birthday is the day before Halloween. So I feel like it's kind of, I have to.
Did you ever do anything with the app functionality, or?
I think by the time I started, actually getting Hidden Side sets and building them, the app was already debunked.
Yeah. I just pretend like that was never an option.
But no, the sets themselves, disregarding, we'll get into that later. The sets are really creative. They're really fun. For me, it is a modern interpretation of what Lego probably would have done with Monster Fighters. Yeah. If it was 10 years later.
For sure.
Because it's got that modern creativity. I think Lego does a lot now with these bright colors and really cool play features. So it's not something that I actively followed, but once I jumped into it, it's hard to get back out of.
And finally, I will be representing the original Studios Monster line, which I only learned probably within the last year that there were actually only 4 sets from the Monsters kind of sub-theme of Studios. So I do own all 4 of these because it's, I mean, they're not that hard to collect. You don't see them very frequently, but they are cool. I always have a soft spot for vintage sets. I just love the kind of design language that they used back then in that time period. And there's some really outstanding minifigures, as we'll talk about. So that's kind of my personal connection to it. I didn't have any of them when I was a kid, but, you know, I remember seeing the first time I saw that crazy Frankenstein with the giant bolts in his head, the zipper, and I was like, man, I need that figure. He's just so cool. All right, I think that does it for us talking about kind of our backgrounds. So without further ado, let's jump into our first category here, which is good guy minifigs. So I guess we'll go kind of in chronological order, these themes. So I'll probably usually start with Studios, and then we can go to Randy with Monster Fighters, and then go through Garrett. So, so Studios good guy minifigures. There's not really much to be said here.
You have Boom Handler. You have Cameraman.
So let's see. Some of these sets didn't even come with good guy minifigs. So this first one here with the Mummy's Curse of the Pharaoh didn't come with any good guy minifigs. Is the Scorpion
the good guy?
Yeah.
I guess, or the Spider.
Maybe this guy used to be the good guy.
The
skeleton head.
Yeah, the glow-in-the-dark skeleton head is cool, but I don't think it counts. In some of them, you just have the actors. There's this guy in like the tan suit, and then the lady in the dark red dress with the orange hair. They crop up in a couple of these sets. Then we've also got, as you mentioned, kind of the camera crew. So we've got like a boom mic operator there in the vampire's crypt, and then in the scary laboratory, there's the 2 actors again.
So the vampire's crib?
Vampire's crib. Welcome to the episode of Cribs.
My bad.
Vampire Cribs.
I don't think you actually got any studio stuff. Oh no, you might have gotten. Let's see. Did you get Steven Spielberg in this one? Yeah, you got the director that looks like Steven Spielberg in the big one, so that makes sense. Good guy minifigs. They're not great in Studios. I'm not going to draw it out anymore. So how do y'all want to rank that out of 10? You can feel free to use the full breadth of the scale here.
I'm gonna go with the 1.
1. All right. How about you, Garrett?
I will give it a 2 solely for the boom mic operator because that's funny.
I'll give it a 3 maybe just because I had the.
Some of those torso prints are cool.
They are. My older brother had the big like Steven Spielberg movie maker one with the big dinosaur. So getting it wasn't like the George Lucas minifigure, but it was clearly supposed to be Steven Spielberg. So we'll go nice and low with those. All right, Randy, Monster Fighters, good guy minifigs.
Good guys. Let's see. There's a few of them because it's the bad guys or the good guys trying to keep the monsters from taking over. So we have, of course, Frank Rock. I mean, the hair alone with the sunglasses and the freckles.
Bouffant.
It's like the Elvis hair.
Pompadour,
it's good hair. Yeah. We got him. The one guy I didn't have here who's one of my favorites is Jack McHammer, who has the mechanical arm.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's great. We got, let's see, who else do we got here? Dr. Rodney Rathbone with his little fencing sword and pistol at the same time.
With his EP.
Yeah, he's so good. It's so great.
I love his robot look.
Right. And you gotta love Ann Lee with the arrow, holding her hair up with her crossbow. I mean, she's great. Not only does she fight monsters, but she fights monsters in a corset.
She's got a gnarly face scar too.
And she does, so love them.
It was very interesting. This was probably kind of Lego's first brush with really including anything steampunk in sets, in any capacity.
I remember correctly, besides of course, like the pirates and stuff.
Yeah.
Monster Fighters is the first theme to include essentially amputee minifigs.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Apart from
the
brick pirate peg legs
or hook hands.
Hook hands. Well, I guess
Rodney's got the leg.
Agents was the first one that had the arm piece, because you had the Dr. Inferno, I think, had that mechanical arm. But it could be on a large scale. Certainly that leg mold was new. That was a much better leg mold.
Can I go ahead and dip in a little bit to lore on the minifigs and why?
Yes.
I hate to steal your category.
No,
I know you want to talk about Rodney Rathbone.
Yes,
I want to talk about Rathbone and specifically Frank Rock.
Yes.
The reason they are missing limbs is because they got into in the lore, there's a whole thing with them and the mad scientist. And those were used to create the Frankenstein.
The Frankenstein, yeah.
Serious?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Was this in like the Lego magazine comics or
stuff
something?
like that? Yeah. Like all 4 or 5 of the main protagonists had like a part of them stolen.
Yeah.
For the Frankenstein,
and that's why they're on this team.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's so interesting. Oh man, I can't wait to get to the lore section.
Right.
Now, what was the deal with Rodney Rathbun? Didn't he appear in another Lego theme or something?
I
feel like there was some tie-in.
Was there something?
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that when we get to lore.
Yeah, we'll have to look at him on there. Yeah.
All right. Was that all of the? That was all the good guy minifigs.
No,
so there were what?
There's
5
a couple.
on the team?
There's a couple more.
You're gonna skip over Major Quentin Steele.
Yes, Major Quentin Steele. Thank you. Yes, I love his gun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean he reminds me of the guy from Jumanji.
Yeah,
like I feel like that's his voice and everything coming from
Van Helsing. Van Pelt?
Yes, Van Pelt. Yes. He's got all the good stuff. Like he's great. So I think that's all of our good guys. He
looks like he needs about 100 gallons of paint dropped on his head.
Right.
At the Sir Save-A-Lot.
Right. Well, now it's is the mad scientist a good guy or a bad guy?
Absolutely, no, he's a bad
guy. That's up to your own interpretation. Yeah. But I didn't have one of him. But so those are all of our good guys.
All right, how do we want to rank those? Garrett, out of 10, good guy minifigs for Monster Fighters.
It's a 9.
That's a 9 for you?
It's one of my favorite Lego teams.
Right.
Out of any theme. All 4 of them, or all 5 of them, are so cool together as a group. I really like them.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go... There were a lot of cool parts. I mean, some of them felt like reuses from other things. I mean, you had like the cave woman hair, which was kind of strange. I don't know why she had an arrow. But, I mean, I don't know. At the same time, like the kind of steampunky...
She shoots a crossbow.
Element was cool. They were all kind of based on like different time periods. So it was sort of like an interesting hodgepodge. I'm going to give it a 7. I'm going to go for 7 for good guys. I always like bad guys better than good guys.
That's fair.
But
true.
All right, how about you, Randy?
I'm gonna give it a 9 too.
9. Right.
I think they're a great team. They're like the Isle of Misfit toys.
Yeah.
They all fit together, and
that's a good way to look at it.
The vehicles they all go together with and everything.
I
think you can see how it fits together. It goes with the story well.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. All right, Hidden Side. Garrett, what do you got for us for
Hidden
good guy
Sides.
minifigs from Hidden Side?
So, our main 2 characters in Hidden Sides are Jack and Parker.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They're 2 teenagers who hunt ghosts.
Yeah?
Yes.
They are our main protagonist. They're pretty basic, in my opinion. I do like them. They have some cool pieces.
Yeah.
We'll throw up some pictures. Jack's got a cool, hat and hair combo mold I really like. He's got a cool face scar, too.
I like the hood hat combo
Yes.
that he has in some sets, too.
And then Parker, she's always got some of the best minifigs, in my opinion.
Oh,
She's got the jackets with the patches all over them.
Mm-hmm.
She's got the pink hair with a beanie. She's got another hair with headphones.
Her headphones, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Her crossbody.
Yeah.
She's got the crossbody
They're
bag.
really cool figs. I feel like they're just kind of too city-like. They're very basic.
That's fair.
JB is our scientist.
She's very cool.
She's our scientist from the
JB
Wave.
a lot.
She's pretty cool. I like this torso a lot with the little chibi Frankenstein.
Yeah.
She's cool. She doesn't show up in that many sets. But I mean, there's really not a whole lot as far as the heroes go for Hidden Sides for me. Mm-hmm. They're kind of just normal civilians doing their own thing. I mean, the teenagers are hunting ghosts on their phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Von Geist, I don't know. This is Wave 3 stuff. I don't know who Von Geist is. He could be a good guy. He looks really cool. He's got a trans purple minifig head.
Oh,
well, so what I was going to bring up was, I mean, there's this interesting overlap in Hidden Side between good guys and bad guys because a lot of the ghosts are
normal people.
Civilians. They're the train conductors.
Yeah.
They're the lighthouse keepers or whatever, but they get possessed and you can swap out their parts.
Yeah.
So
I will
same
consider
minifigs
all
are
of them bad.
fair enough. We'll
because
judge them
they're
that
being
way. We'll judge them
possessed.
that way.
Yeah.
So we'll mostly judge.
I am also going to count Spencer, the ghost dog, as a good guy.
Yeah, we have to.
Oh.
Okay.
Spencer is awesome. He comes in so many sets. It's
Yes.
a dual molded piece, trans clear and white, of this little I
Terrier
want to say
dog
like
or
this
something.
terrier,
Yeah.
schnauzer, like it's super cute. Love seeing Spencer.
He was like the ghost from
Shout out
Nightmare
to
Before Christmas
Zero,
before we
yes.
got the
Yes.
Lego.
Yes.
Yeah, the Lego Zero.
Exactly, yeah.
So, but yeah, very, very cool little dog minifig.
The hidden sides is not for our hero characters.
No.
Yeah, no.
So I'm not going to try to convince anybody otherwise of that.
Most Lego themes aren't,
Yeah.
frankly. It's always about the villains.
They have some cool pieces, but these aren't ones I would necessarily hunt out for your spooky collection.
Yeah.
True. All right, Randy, how would you rank these out of 10?
I am going to give the good guys a 7.
7?
Yeah.
Okay. Garrett, how about you?
I'm going to give them a 6. I do like them. I do have Jack and Parker exploring the Monster Fighters haunted house in my collection. Nice. So.
I would probably, if we were just ranking Parker and, look, I already forgot the dude's name.
Jack.
If we were just ranking like Jack and Parker, I would probably give him like a 5, but for me, 0, or not
Spencer.
0. Spencer. Yeah. Spencer is going to bring it up to a 6
definitely
for me.
Brings it up.
Single-handedly, so I will give it a 6. All right, now what we've been waiting for, the bad guy minifigs. So we will jump back over to Studios first to go chronologically, and these were the first monsters that we really ever got, and these were based pretty much off all the classic Universal monsters.
Yeah.
So we started with the Mummy here, which is interesting because it uses a lot of the same pieces from like the Adventurers Mummy, but totally different prints. It was a similar kind of design language. The like eyes and the stitched mouth were the same, but he's very distinct, and he's frankly a lot more scarier looking than like Pharaoh Hotep to me. Pharaoh Hotep is very like bright colors, kind of cartoony. This is like rotting and decrepit and has like these scary blood red eyes. So he's fantastic. Up in the next set you got the Wolfman, which is kind of the weakest probably out of all of them. He used that kind of big molded headpiece that went over like an actor's head, which again was cool for the Studios tie-in, and they used it later for Professor Lupin from Harry Potter, but he's just all right. Vampire's Crypt, the vampire's fantastic. This is like a great really good villain. You also get the Igor, whatever, the Hunchback anyway, and he's got his little Hunchback cart so he can go to the graveyard and get bodies or whatever, or transport the vampire coffin around. And then of course in the biggest one, the Scary Laboratory, you got the Frankenstein, and of course you have to have the evil scientist. Lots of skeletons and ghosts and bats and rats and other things as well. But these were really, the first monsters that they ever made. So this was pre-2003, so these were all using like old grays and browns and stuff. So they show their age a little bit. But as far as foundational for the monsters, I really love these minifigs. They hold a soft spot for me for sure. So how do we feel about these? Who wants to rank them first?
I completely agree. I think they're really cool. The wolf is definitely the weakest one, but they've since made really good werewolves.
Oh, yeah.
But, the Frankenstein, I think, seals the deal for me on it.
Frankenstein's probably the most.
That head is so cool. And the fact that those are anti-studs on his headpiece.
Right.
You can stick bars in there. You can stick studs on them. Whatever.
I think it's really cool. I would have to give these monsters a 6. No, let's make it a 7.
A 7.
A 7 because that vampire is cool.
Yeah.
All right. How about you, Randy?
The Frankenstein and Vampire just got it. I'm going to give him a 7, too.
7.
It's a solid 7, yeah.
I really love these just because I mostly love classic minifigures. Yeah. I got to go 9 on these.
There you go.
Got a little face frame on the scientist.
Oh, yeah. The scientist is crazy. And he had this kind of cool, I forgot to mention this, he had this cool like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of thing going on. You could spin his face around, and he had an alternate print where he was this like weird, like scary monster looking kind of thing. Let me see if the minifigure... Yeah, there you go. He had these big like bushy sideburns and these crazy like kind of snaggle teeth and eyebrows and red eyes. So
those are some bushy eyebrows. I like it. Yeah,
there's a little bit of a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of thing going on there. So all right, Monster Fighters. Talk about our monsters, Randy.
All right, okay. Well, I pulled out some that we have.
There's so many.
Yeah, you have the awesome bat, which he's so great. He's got the abs. He's got the face. He hangs down on all the great things. It's so good.
Man bat.
Yeah.
It's basically man bat.
Right, basically, yeah. We also have the swamp creature.
This was a great addition.
It's so
Creature
good.
from the Black Lagoon.
Yes. It's so good. The print around the torso, the headpiece, and then even when you take it off, the eyes on here. Oh, and he's even got the little, the little marks.
Little scales and
so
stuff.
Good. Yeah.
Little bits of kelp and seaweed.
Yeah,
my favorite part's the seaweed skirt.
Yeah, seaweed skirt. There you go. Yeah. That's a good way to put it. And also, then we have our own Monster Fighters Frankenstein, who is still great. I still think he holds his own. You got the little headpiece that comes off. He's got his bushy eyebrows underneath, extra bushy ones. He's got like the safety pins holding his head together.
That's what I was just going to bring up. It was like every Lego Frankenstein has had some different goofy thing like holding him together. So the first one had a zipper on his forehead. He's got safety pins.
Which Monster Fighters Frankenstein do you prefer? Because there are 2.
Yes, the butler one.
The gray one.
The gray one.
Butler,
yes, I have him at home. I gotta go with the OG. I do like the green because the other one's gray and blue, like dark navy. Yeah, kind of blue.
Was this the collectible minifigs one? He just had the Band-Aids on his head, which is great.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
I want to say the the Butler one has a different. Yeah, he's
Butler
just
he's kind of stitched. He's probably the most morbid or grotesque out of all of them. I think Lego was doing it to make it a little more cartoony. Because Frankenstein's kind of gross.
Yeah,
so.
He gives me like Lurch vibes, kind of.
It's totally Lurch. Right, It's 100% Lurch. Yeah. And then I guess was this a video?
Oh yeah, that's the video, right?
No, that was also
collectible.
CMF. Yeah, okay. He also just kind of had stitches, but he was also a little cartoony. He had like the denim jacket and the padlock necklace kind of thing.
Wrist.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little dicey. Here we go. There's
all of them together. Yeah,
that's a good picture.
Oh, it's so.
That's
good.
really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool to see. More than I would have expected.
Right. Okay, we have the zombie driver because you need your zombie driver guy. We have the Wolfman. With
much better than the
glow-in-the-dark claws, which is one of my favorite things about these sets.
We used those claws on our Slenderman kit, I think.
Because they're so great.
Our custom Slenderman kit.
Glow-in-the-dark ghost.
My favorite Lego ghost ever. It's the best ghost mold they've ever made.
Why would you have anything not glow-in-the-dark?
Exactly.
I don't understand.
Well, even just the point on the back, like it's a sheet thrown over.
Right.
This mold, it looks similar to all the other ones. This is the best one.
Well, that was what was cool. It was an homage to the classic, but they changed it up a little bit. They made him sad instead of smiling.
Mm-hmm.
Just it's minor updates, but a great reproduction.
Lord Vampire's wife with her glow-in-the-dark head.
Mm-hmm.
Had to. And also the best Lord Vampire, the king of them all, with his glow-in-the-dark head. I wish his hands were glow-in-the-dark. And then we have the glow-in-the-dark mummy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then,
which came
so
what?
good.
Both in glow-in-the-dark and not
glow-in-the-dark, which I don't know why they would do that, because I would only want the glow-in-the-dark, but there is both of them in here. There's also, there's non-glow-in-the-dark.
Honorable mention for the glow-in-the-dark skeleton horse.
Glow-in-the-dark skeleton horse, yes,
for sure.
And also, we don't have the zombie bride and the zombie groom that go with the.
They're very expensive.
Yes, they're very expensive. I'm very lucky I have both of them, and they live in a very curious. They're in their little coffins when they're not out. So
we gotta protect them.
And they died happily ever after.
They stay in their coffins till we use them, so it's all good. But
this is quite the lineup we have.
Yes,
here.
so there's quite a few of the villains, but I like all the villains.
Yeah.
These are, the glow in the dark is just the best thing to me. So these are a 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know how you get better than all of these.
I will put you down for a 10. All right, Garrett, how about you? What you thinking about these?
I have to agree. It's 10. A 10. They are some of my favorite Lego villains in all. Like, Lord Vampire and the Bride of Lord Vampire. Oh, man. Mm-hmm. They're awesome. And like you said, the Swamp Thing, it's so classic. And they're not quite, they fit in with Lego, like modern Lego stuff, but they're not quite like modern Lego anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I think they still hold up today.
100%.
All right, for me, Monster Fighters lineup. Yeah, I don't know. I think they hold up by today's standards. I don't really think... I mean, they've made other versions of, like, vampires and vampires' brides, but most of these monsters, I think, are really pretty fine for their age. So, I don't know. I'll go 9 out of 10.
Okay.
9 out of 10. All right,
you sure?
Next up...
You sure that's your choice?
Yeah.
I don't want you to regret that later.
No.
Okay, just making sure.
I wouldn't. You don't know. You don't have a key to my house. All right, let's talk about hidden side monsters and bad guys.
Yes, hidden side.
Oh, yes.
So pretty much, they are a bunch of humans who have been possessed by ghosts. Mm-hmm. It's really cool. Every set comes with, civilians, but then those civilians have a whole separate extra headpiece that is trans neon green.
Sometimes two headpieces.
Yes.
Sometimes two that have crazy scary faces on them. They'll come with an extra hairpiece that they are almost all in this like spring green color.
Yes.
It's such a good green.
Yeah, it is.
I think that was pretty new for this theme, if I'm
I
mistaken.
I don't want to say it was made for this theme, but this is definitely the first time I saw it show up.
It was a principal usage of it. I mean, there were tons of new parts that came in this color to represent the different like ghostly aspects. We'll talk about that more with
that's
play features.
One of the biggest things for these minifigs, a lot of the ghosts, is all these crazy effect parts that they came with. There is a part, I forget the name of the fig, we'll throw a picture up. There's a figure that had a neck attachment piece that split the head into two, gave two neck posts.
Yeah.
So you could put two minifigs heads on one body.
It looks like something Citizen Brick would make.
Yeah, it's super crazy. There's another piece that you put in between the legs and torso of a minifig, and it makes it look like he's splitting open, and like this ectoplasm is shooting out.
It's a little morbid.
Yeah.
It's
I think
really
it's the chef. Is that the chef?
That's the
clown.
That's
the clown. Okay.
What's his name?
Terry Top.
Terry Top.
Okay.
Terry Top and Jimbo Limbo.
Yeah,
we love that.
We love.
Y'all are
we
speaking
love
another language right now.
Garrett and I know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jumbo Lumbo.
Jimbo Limbo.
Jimbo Limbo.
And Terry
okay.
Top.
And Terry Top.
Okay, sure.
And then there's Chef Enzo. You're thinking of that. He's got the double torso.
That's what it is.
He's got like a Garmadon torso essentially.
Yeah. That's wild.
So they're really cool, but the main villain in this set is Namar Reem.
Yes, look
and
at that.
He is a really, really cool looking figure. He's using light aqua as the skin tone, and that's one of my favorite Lego colors. It's really cool. This is like the old Mysterio, like smoke piece, or
molded,
Ninjago. But yeah, it's exclusive to him in this trans medium blue and black variant.
Beautiful.
It's really, really cool. You can take him out of it, and another cool part use is she's using the Batman, the Lego Batman movie armor.
It looks great.
It looks great for him. He's got some really cool printing with just all this like. He's giving me like Pinhead vibes.
Yes.
A little bit, yeah. His mouth kind of has that look to it too.
And then he has a bunch of minions, the Shadow Walkers,
right?
Which are really, really cool. There's a couple different variants. They're essentially fully like black, like minifigs. But then they have a trans. It's not trans black, 'cause that didn't exist yet. Trans brown head, minifig head that has like lightning eyes. And they're really, really cool. They have a belt that has like a deer skull on it and all these other like symbolism things on them. They're really, really freaky.
Yeah,
they're
that's
super
wild.
cool.
Yeah, I really love the Shadow Walkers. They're cool figures. And then Namar Reem also has another form. We'll throw a picture of that up too. It's crazy
the
how
one that has like the brick built.
It's
head.
crazy how it's considered a minifig, but yes, it is a brick built version of him. It is called Namar, the Harbinger, or whatever. And he's like this tall.
Yeah, he's got the big long spindly legs.
And he is essentially like Slenderman. It's a super cool minifig that they decided to, buildable character. He's about $50 for that one by himself.
I believe
Nice.
it. Now, is his name a reference to something? It sounds like either like a palindrome or like something like a where the letters are all jumbled up or something. Do you know if his name is a reference to something? Is it like Nightmare, but like the letters are jumbled up or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like a reference to something.
I'm not sure, but I know he looks really cool. I like his silver eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a metallic.
I'm not going to talk about the AR monsters.
The
app and all that. Now, I mean, the designs on some of these are really, really freaky.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to talk about the Bawa.
No.
Or I'm not going to talk about... I mean, I would talk about the mall because that's disgusting.
They're very graphic for Lego sets, and they're right there on the box art. Where parents and people were seeing. It's scary stuff probably for kids.
But I mean, those aren't minifigs.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you guys think about them? I
mean, Randy, I don't know which one to rank these out of 10.
That's a 9 out of 10.
Yeah,
9 out of 10.
I have a lot of those.
How about you, Garrett?
So good.
I would say an 8, and it's solely just for all of these crazy exclusive pieces that we got for some of these minifigs that we'll never see again.
Yeah.
I mean that neck bracket piece that splits to 2 heads is wild.
Yeah.
That, like you said, that is something Citizen Brick would make.
Yeah. I mean, when did he not come around until like wave 2 or 3, or was he in any of the original sets?
No, this is wave 2, I'm pretty sure, and this was his first appearance, and then he showed up in wave 3 in the like Optimus Prime, like Transformer fire truck.
Yeah, okay. I feel like in wave 1, where it was just kind of like civilians turning into ghosts, I probably would have given this a lower score, like maybe like 6 or 7 or something. But I think when they kind of refocused in wave 2 and had to come up with like a big bad and like a more compelling story for the bad guys, I think that kind of pushed it up. So I'll give it an 8 as well.
Perfect.
All right, next we get to talk about set design. So overall kind of set value, presentation, how it looks on a shelf, how it maybe you could talk about box art in this category as well if we want. Basically everything to do with the set, except we will judge play features specifically separately. So in terms of set design, let's talk about studios first again. So these were, again, a product of their time. They're a little bit older here. So some of the set design, the kind of design language is a little bit weaker. I would say that, again, the weakest one is probably the Werewolf Ambush. This tree build is very bad.
The eyes are so weird.
It has these weird eyes. There's like a control panel piece on the back. It is a printed piece, which is kind of cool. The car is basically just a repurposed car from like Adventurers or something else. So this one is really not fantastic. Some of the large ones are cool, though. The Scary Laboratory
that's cool.
had a really impressive kind of presence, I would say. You got lots of large antennas and rays and blasters and like hypnotic things, and it had a nice kind of design language to it. The Vampire's Crypt as well. Some of these had like cardboard.
Crib?
The Vampire's Crib.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The Vampire's Crypt. A lot of these had these kind of interesting cardboard backdrops, sort of similar to the studios, the Spider-Man sets. There were a few of those that had those.
That reminds me of the Harry Potter classroom banners
Yep.
that had the holographic page.
So I think in this early 2000s time period, they were experimenting with that in a few different themes. It was a way to give a shelf more surface area and present while still keeping piece count relatively low. But there were some fantastic parts that came in these. I mean, this giant molded coffin with a vampire embedded into the lid of it was fantastic. And then in the Frankenstein one, you had some great pieces. There was the clear head with the brain printed on it that was also used in the Harry Potter, the Borgin and Burke's, the Nocturnally set. So some fantastic parts. But yeah, they were a product of their time. So how do y'all feel about these ones in terms of overall set design for these early Studios monster sets?
I would have to give them a 5. I like what they're going for. They're trying to be like a movie studio set. It's supposed to be like a movie set.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're just a little too open for that, in my opinion.
That was the other part I didn't even talk about. So like in the Scary Laboratory, you get like there's like a side thing that's like a makeup thing.
Yeah.
Like a mirror and like lights where the actors are like getting dressed. It's like a dressing room, I guess. It's kind of strange.
It's cool for that.
Yeah.
But
the concept of the studios thing is lost on it a little bit. I think they should have just committed to making monsters sets as its own thing. Yeah. All right, how about you, Randy? How do you feel about set design?
I'm gonna give it a 6. I think the nostalgia of it's great.
Yeah.
I think they really captured that part of it really well. That wolf one is just terrible. It's so bad. But like this one's great. I love it. I think it's fun, and with the theme, I think they're on point with it. But yeah, solid 6.
Yeah, I have a soft spot for vintage set design, but I'm not going to let that affect my vote here because some of these are just objectively bad. I'm also going to give this a 5, frankly, because I know the strong suit for these is really more so going to be the play features, which we'll talk about next. So, all right, Monster Fighters, Randy.
Monster Fighters.
Tell us about the Monster Fighters set design.
Okay, so here we have the example of the greatness that it is, because we have Lord Vampire's castle here. He's got his organ back here to play, his bed's over here, he's got his coffin right in the front door, he's got a bedroom too, he's got glow-in-the-dark rats, he's got the chains that go up and down for his prisoners, and the best part is you have all the moonstones that swirl around to hypnotize you into his world, or when he's ready to take over and
like
end all of a sudden.
Portal or something.
It is. Well, this is for him to.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, it goes with the theme of it. So you have this. You have the haunted the haunted mansion, or the haunted house, which is just so cool.
Basically a modular building.
That is the one.
The most gorgeous of them all, though. It's so good. It has all the broken windows and all the stuff. Everything about it's so good.
This is such an iconic set. I mean, they've made other references to it. They released that little, what was it? It was like an ornaments pack that basically had like a micro scale version of this.
I have that. Yeah.
This is.
There's also
outlived.
I want to say a sticker of this set. I'm trying to remember what it is.
One of like the Monkey Kid,
I want to say
like one of the Lego store sets, maybe. Yeah,
I think so. It's on there somewhere. They're so good. And even the small one, I love the zombies, which is the little graveyard. And it has the two
it's the zombie wedding
gravestones. It's the wedding. It's the Mr. and Mrs. in there, and they pop up, and it's so great. And I guess that's playability, but it's really just. I think they just fit well and are so on theme with each character.
Oh yeah.
And when you put them all out, it makes like the whole. You can see the whole movie happening of like how easy it would be for the whole thing to be, they just are all so cohesive.
For sure,
they're just great.
They did some of the sets kind of again. Really, I mean, they did basically the Scary Laboratory again. Same thing. You had big antennas. That one had a light brick.
Yeah, this one did. Yeah,
but the design language of these.
Yeah.
The design language of these was really nice.
There's also the ghost train, which I love that it's not on a track, so you can really fit it in on your shelf wherever you want.
Evil Thomas the Train.
Bones, the Evil Thomas the Train with the bones to hold in the good guys and everything, which is so great. And also the vampire hearse. It's a 10 out of 10 with the clear with the red teeth along the top to make it look like the curtains pleated.
That one also
with
has glow-in-the-dark stickers.
Glow-in-the-dark stickers, yep, with the coffin inside it. It's so good. Yep. I think that's... And there's also the werewolf with the werewolf tree, who's still not the best tree, but definitely better than the studio's tree.
This is what's so interesting to me when we compare these themes that are often regarded as similar. You notice how they make like the same sets in the same style over and over again. I mean, some classic examples. We did the like Agents versus Ultra Agents. Half like the truck is like identical. Even in other themes like Indiana Jones, the way that they did the original Temple Escape compared to the new one, like the form factor of the set was identical. It's like how did they not come up with a totally different way to do it? But they did the same thing. They did a Wolfman with a tree. Like why? Why are those two things attached to each other in Lego's mind? I don't know. I guess because it's proven to have worked before. All right, Garrett, what do you think about these?
I love Monster Fighters. I've got tons of the sets. I would have to give set design an 8.
An 8.
They're really good for the time period. Like, I mean, this is 2010. This is obviously a Transylvanian like castle. You know. My one complaint with a lot of the sets is that they are from the time period. They're kind of fragile.
Yeah, that's fair.
This one is in particular is hard to move.
Yes.
The Mad Scientist Laboratory is kind of real long, but just hinge plates.
Yeah.
So some of the bigger sets are a little funky, but I really like them. They're great sets. They're spooky looking. I mean, you have those in the room with the lights off, they glow in the dark. You notice them.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go 8 as well. I like them from the outside a lot. One of my bigger problems with Monster Fighters was I felt that some of the interiors were lacking on the sets. I mean, they had like kind of one small thing in each room. The haunted house had a lot of cool things in it, but it still felt very sparse, which you could argue is more fitting for an abandoned haunted house. But I'll give it an 8 out of 10. How about you, Randy?
I'm gonna do. I will do a 9 out of 10. Okay. I am very disappointed with the swamp creature because I think he's such a cool character.
He could have such a
his set was
It's just this little like 10-piece like with it's terrible.
Yeah.
That one. The werewolf one is definitely not as strong, and also the mummy one. I really like the chariot, but like the helicopter that goes with it is just bad.
I just love how the skeleton horse's eyes are on fire.
Yes, the fire coming out, super cool.
This was a huge change up compared to studios. I mean, they totally could have just done another little like Mummy's Tomb, Mummy's Crypt thing where he pops out and but they gave him a flaming chariot with a hell horse pulling it.
Pretty much.
And that part I love. But the helicopter is just why even bother? I don't understand. So that's disappointing. But the larger sets I think are great. The smaller ones definitely were lacking, except for the Ghost Polybag. Shout out to the Ghost Polybag.
Shout out Ghost Polybag.
With the grandfather clock with its very, very delicate reddish-brown pieces and your ghost with the ball and chain.
Yes.
So that one is great. Cool. But yeah, the smaller ones are definitely lacking.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, Hidden Side. Tell us about set design.
Hidden Sides. I mentioned it earlier. I really like Hidden Side set design for the colors. A lot of Hidden Side sets, even though they're spooky, they're not going for just gray and brown, and they're they do a lot more. Let's do a comparison real quick. We talked about Ghost Train.
Train.
Hidden Sides did kind of remake a lot of classic sets like that. Hidden Sides also has a Ghost Train. I do really like this Ghost Train. You may not be able to see anything from the front of the box. That is one of the problems with Hidden Sides.
Yeah, honestly, you're almost better off showing the back.
This art it's pretty. I like it.
Yeah.
Somebody... They hired an entire graphic design team, and they put
a very talented graphic
tons of effort into these. They're awesome, but they don't look like Lego sets.
They don't sell Lego sets.
I really wish people at stores would have stocked them backwards, like this on the shelf.
Agreed.
But I mean, this train's awesome looking. I love the dark red and black on this like diesel engine. Super cool.
Yeah.
I like the design philosophy they went with it. All of the Hidden Side sets have essentially 2 modes. So you can have this train be a normal train. You can close the mouth. You can fold in these ghost wings.
Yeah.
And it's just a normal train. but then it has a little lever up top that you push in, and it gets possessed.
Right.
There's the Newberry Haunted High School. If you've ever seen the 2007 movie Monster House, that's what that set is.
Yes. It's Monster House.
It's a high school facade, front of a high school building, and the door opens up, and it's a big mouth with teeth, and these claws come out of the side of the building, and the eyes shoot out from the clock tower.
Yeah.
It's really cool for that, and really creative.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's another one that is very similar. This is the Hidden Sides Mystery Castle.
Yeah.
Kind of a remake of the Vampire Castle.
Very similar.
Look at them. They are they are even laid out in the same orientation, where the opening on this side.
Right.
And they fold open in the same way. When I built this set, that's all I could think of was, I was like, oh, I'm building the Vampire Castle.
Yeah, totally.
They look great next to each other.
They do. They look like they're from the same theme. I think it's really cool. I like a lot of the sets. There are some that are kind of funky. Like there's the JB submarine, which is like...
Yeah. Or her like lab or whatever.
Yeah.
The lab's interesting.
The battle bus before we had a
the battle bus.
Yes.
That's a very iconic one.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Shrimp Shack, isn't the Shrimp Shack though? I love the
Shrimp
Shrimp Shack.
Shack is
Shrimp Shack
awesome.
is a 10 out of 10.
And the Shrimp
I love
Boat's
that.
a really
The
good
Shrimp
set.
Boat, yes.
The Shrimp Boat had the
Lighthouse.
albino alligator in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is a great part to get. But yeah, I mean, I think they're really cool sets. They had a lot of heart in them. I think they tried to still honor a spooky theme, but not just make it boring grays and browns. They actually try to throw some life into it, I feel like.
Yeah. Now, we only ever cover Lego-specific themes on these videos, but it's worth mentioning that these sets are also very similar to a lot of Scooby-Doo sets. I mean,
100%.
we saw the lighthouse, we saw the castle. So, there's a lot of overlap there as well, which you could draw your own comparisons on. But
my biggest thing with some of the Hidden Side sets is they feel too open.
Fair.
I really I'll name 3 sets. I really like the subway set. I really like the abandoned prison, and I really like the haunted fairground.
Were those all Wave 2?
Yes. No, abandoned prison's Wave 3. But all 3 of those sets are maybe about that thick, and they're about this big. They're long, but they have no depth to them at all. So they're not much, but they look cool, and they're cool concepts.
Yeah.
The forbidden or the abandoned prison one is essentially another alive building that has claws and eyes. Like this, a prison comes alive. Yeah, it's really cool.
Fairgrounds is great.
The Fairgrounds is great.
And I'm not a big clown person, but man, it's good.
No, it's got that big clown face that you hit with the roller coaster and it splits open.
Yeah.
That reminded me a lot of DC sets, like Jokerland kind of type sets. All right, Randy, how do you feel about overall set design for Hidden Side?
Set design for Hidden Side, I'm giving that a 7.
7? Yeah. Pretty solid. I'm going to say I didn't buy a lot of Hidden Side sets. I mean, I was getting a little older. It wasn't really my prime time period. And I think because they felt kind of redundant to me to Monster Fighters, which I was more of age when they came out and bought a lot of them, I didn't really feel the need to purchase these. That being said, as a result, I passed on a lot of the sets that were not redundant. Like one of my favorite ones is just this little dark green car because I just think the design language of it is very cool. It's like a hot rodded out car, but like the graphic design on it is very like Cuphead kind of like classic cartoon inspired. You've got some great pieces. The very rare, expensive like cattle skull piece, but in pearl dark gray, which is crazy. So
I like how this is like a Mario 8 car.
So good.
The wheels fold and it hovers.
So because of that, I think there was a lot of good, but a lot of bad. So I'm probably gonna say 7 as well. How about you, Garrett?
I'm actually going to be a little more critical, and I'm going to have to be at a 6.
Very fair.
I would have been at a 7 or an 8 on these sets if they didn't include a bunch of obnoxious random colors in the set for the AR features.
It was part of the gamification.
There are parts of these sets that are easy to replace, they're easy to change out, but a lot of the sets have either like a knob or something that has 4 random colors on it. And that's so you could scan it in the app.
I think Hidden Side could have benefited more from having some sets that were targeted maybe a little bit more for adults too. I mean, Monster Fighters had the big Haunted Mansion. It had the Ghost Train was probably not originally intended for adults, but a lot of adults love to collect that set. Hidden Side, I feel like, didn't really have anything like that. The train was very close to being a train that train fans would have wanted to collect.
The big thing with this one too, if this set had come out 10 years ago, these would have been full-size carts.
If they hadn't wasted these parts on this awful train station over here, they probably could have made those 2 cars actual train cars. And
I
think train fans would have embraced this and accepted this, and they would have had rebrickable instructions on how to convert it and remove all the
I've seen people do
monster
that
aspects.
I've seen people use this engine and motorize it because it's a cool looking diesel engine.
For sure.
But yeah, I'm with you.
But yeah, I think Hidden Side needed a little more targeted towards adults, maybe. So, all right, next up, we get to talk about play features. This is one we've already mentioned several times, but I will go ahead and start us off again with studios. So this is, again, a lot of the same classic pieces and play features that you got from themes like Adventures. Yeah. There's trapdoors everywhere. There's, missiles and things that shoot out. There's like a floppy armed skeleton, I think, in every single one of these sets, which
I love a floppy armed
is something great. They're always popping out of places or turning out from behind revolving panels in the walls. There was this big like hypnosis kind of feature in the scary laboratory where this like skull thing on top would spin around. There were lots of
that piece is still being made.
Gears and stuff. Which piece?
The energy.
Oh, the
spiral.
The energy spiral. Yep. There was like the bed that you would put Frankenstein on, and you could actually like lift him up, like he was gonna get like struck by the lightning or whatever to energize him. There were these like big. What do you call them? What are the switches? A knife switch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Where you picture like they always throw there was kind of a play feature for that, which was kind of cool. In the Vampire's Crypt. Same thing, you sort of had like a platform that you could put his coffin on and like raise him up, so I guess he could wake up. So lots of fun, very classic, traditional.
Or crib?
Is it crib?
Crib, okay.
Crib,
yeah,
crib
with a Z.
Cribs. Okay.
This episode of MTV Cribs. Yes.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Stay tuned for that between the studs.
Yes. MTV Cribs. So anyway, they were simpler play features for the time, but I mean they were very classic. I mean every kid loves trapdoors and flying missiles and hidden secrets, and that's why Adventures is one of my favorite themes overall, was because of all the hidden kind of action features, and I think Studios was another one that really leaned into and embraced that. So what do y'all think about play features for these early Studios monster sets?
For what they are and for the limited piece count of all, even the biggest set I feel like just does not have enough pieces to fill it out.
Yeah.
They utilize those pieces great and make great functions out of them.
Because that was the primary purpose at the time. I mean, it was all based around the play features, whereas later design language, they make something that looks nice from the outside first, and then they work the play features into that.
Yeah.
I would have to give the play features a 6.5.
So,
I'm going to throw a half number here.
6.5. All right.
Yep.
All right. How about you, Randy?
I'm going to give them a 7. I think it's a solid 7. I think there's a lot of really great play features, and they're on point with theme, so I like that.
Take it. I'm gonna agree. I'm at about a 7 on these. They're not perfect, but for the time period, they were fun for kids, and that was the point. That was basically all they were focused about. There was kind of another interesting aspect, which I guess I can work in here. These also did all include sort of like a little short comic in the back of the instructions, which was kind of fun. So there are lots of themes throughout the ages that have included little comics, but it was kind of a fun bonus to see, because they were very cartoony. Even though the monsters were scary, it would be like there was a whole thing with the vampire with the garlic. There's a little garlic tile, and they were chasing him around with the garlic and stuff. So lots of fun stuff there. All right, Monster Fighters play features. What do you got for us, Randy?
Monster Fighters play features. Okay, so in the scientist and the mad scientist and his monster, you got lasers. We love lasers coming down on everything. He rises up, all the fun things. It has a little... it connects, the car's connected to it because he's trying to bust out the bars to be able to rescue everybody. It's so great. It's so good.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of playability on that one. The ghost train, you have the cars have the big bones that you're able to open up the doors and trap the people in it. The hearse, like I said, has the coffin in it and he can pop out of it too.
Does the bottom fall out of the coffin?
No.
No, there's no coffin fall.
No. He goes this way. He doesn't go that way. He goes this way.
I remember having that set when I was a kid and building that set, and then I realized that there was that lever on the side that when you did that, he would launch the
launches,
out of the car.
Right. I don't like to do it because I feel like I'm going to break my coffin. Right? So I don't want to do that. But it does a good launch. The chariot, you got a horse with fire flying out of its eyeballs. You want to play with that. Glow in the dark. The swamp creature is the set that definitely is one. The creature again. is a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
He deserved better.
I think he was
really
one of the best figs out of the lineup, honestly. Mostly because he was newest compared to what we had gotten before.
Right, so that's...
A lot of the others were kind of rehashes.
Yeah, that one's definitely disappointing. You have the werewolf on his. He's got a little balancing thing on the tree, and you can launch him, too. Mm-hmm. Who doesn't love to launch their minifigs, right? And then you have the zombies, like I said. They lay in their crypts, but then they can pop up together.
Is the graveyard the set that has Jack McHammer's truck? That has the two giant hammers on the side
that as you roll it, they go shoot out, and it's got the big old like snow plow on the front of it to just plow through anything. Nobody's getting it. And that's crazy. The hammers that go with the tires, and so that, I mean, who doesn't want to play with that truck, right? So that one's great.
I think the Mad Scientist layer was probably, I did have that one. I think that one probably had the best play features. I just love a good like Frankenstein Mad Scientist lab.
Right, they're really so good. And here, you still got the, I mean, that is super cool.
This was probably the coolest play feature.
You do have a hatch, secret hatch,
trapdoor.
The trapdoor.
Yeah. And I'm sure we'll talk more about the whole moonstone thing.
The moonstones,
yes,
all the
segment.
fun things.
All right, how do we want to rank these? Garrett, how do you feel about the play features for Monster Fighters?
I would say they're a solid 7. They're really good for their time period.
About a 7 on this.
Yeah.
How about you, Randy?
I'm going to give it...
the spikes that pop
out in the door to the gate, I'm going to give it an 8.
Nice.
It's so good. Mm-hmm.
All right, and hidden side play features, Garrett. This is where you could choose to talk about the app if you so wish to do so, but I don't know that any of us here are really experts on it.
I've never used the app. I've never seen anybody talk about the app. I've seen very brief gameplay of it.
Yeah.
The best way to enjoy hidden sides is to act like that doesn't exist, and to act like that was never a thing.
Yeah.
Because
the monster conversion, that we already talked about, that's a play feature too.
I mean, it is. I guess it was the thing I don't like about that is the whole point of Lego is to use your imagination.
Right.
Is to come up with your own story. Not be on an electronic device. That's the whole reason I built Lego.
Yeah.
But regardless, let's not talk about the app because who used that. As far as just play features go, these sets do have a lot going for them. I mean, we talked about this set. It's very small. It's so simple how the wheels just fold down, and they have like little engines, like turbines in them.
It's a flying car now.
Yeah. Flying car now. That's just really cool.
They fly now?
They fly. The Newberry High School. Like all the sets turn into monsters. All the sets come alive. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite it's so simple, it's just stupid. In the paranormal bus, it has a porta potty that gets possessed by a ghost, and it sprouts eyes and traffic cone legs, and it starts shooting these little brown discs.
Yeah,
it's really interesting, really strange.
Yeah. Interesting color choice.
Right, yeah.
So funny, so cool. Even in the Mystery Castle here, I mean, this entire castle comes alive. It's got eyes and it's got teeth, and on this set in particular, there's like a trap door back here that you pull, and it will make them fall into the doorway down here. And as you pull that, it makes these like little tentacle parts do this.
This is definitely more kind of robustly designed, I would say, than its predecessor. You had more interesting rooms too. You had this giant like observatory thing, and then the central part had this really nice like roof line with a balcony. So there were more kind of architecturally interesting aspects as well.
I think the play features are really cool on these because all of them have essentially a transformation.
Yeah.
So not only do you have a cool train set to have. Your train's also alive. If you want it to, it can fly.
Yeah, why not?
I think that's just really creative for play and really cool.
They did put this one on track, though, which is interesting. Because like you mentioned, the ghost train was not meant to run on track.
No.
For the play features. The carts in that ghost train have like spinning features, or like one of them has wings that flap.
Gotcha. So because they needed to engage things with the wheels, they couldn't use those train wheels.
It's
That makes sense.
exactly like the Twisted Time Train.
Yes, yeah.
Another one of the greatest Lego trains ever. But
that's true. We're not talking about time twisters here. It's kind of a spooky thing, but. All right, Randy, how do you feel about the hidden side play features?
I'm giving hidden side play features an 8 because I have quite a few of these, and the best part is like you said, they're very robust. You're able to flip the levers, flip the switch, and like it works. And you don't have to be careful or anything. Like they're made very well to be able to use those features, and I feel like that's so great because if they had those features but it was hard to use or you did it and it would knock a piece off, they thought when they designed them they really did a good job of how they incorporated that. So they're very fun to play with.
I want to say there's like 2 or 3 like dune buggy sets from Hidden Sides in particular, like these big like cars.
Yeah.
But they all have like the rubber band suspension on them, so you can do this with them as you drive it around.
Yeah.
And, like that's so fun.
Yeah, for sure. I am also going to give these an 8. I had given Monster Fighters a 7, but I'm going to bump it up to 8 here. I like the conversion aspect. The only reason I wouldn't go higher is it feels a little bit like Transformers to me, where it's like, okay, I want to make it a monster now, but first I got to do this, and then I got to do this, and then I got to do this, and then I got to do this. So I don't think it would personally be fun for me to play with that more than like, if I finished building the set, I'd probably like do the monster conversion once and be like, oh wow, that's cool, and then like convert it back and be like, oh, that's cool, and then probably never touch it again. So, now that being said, I was not the target demographic at this time period for these sets, but that's why I wouldn't go higher. But I'll give it an 8 because I think it is better than Monster Fight.
Yes.
The last thing here is story/lore is our final category. So obviously not much of that for Lego Studios here. I guess this is actually probably where I should talk about the comics.
Yeah.
It was really the only story or lore that you got. So let's see if I can read any of the panels here from the mummy one. So the mummy's opening his crypt, and the skeleton is sleeping inside of his crypt, and so he gets mad, and it looks like he starts basically cursing him out. I guess mummy's curse, and the skeleton climbs out, and he's all sleepy, and then he gives him a So they were goofy. Like I said, they were very cartoony, but it gave kids a little bit of story to go with it. So Lego was not really big into coming up with a lot of story or lore for things, for themes at this time period. But we'll just very quickly go through and give this pretty low ranking. How do we feel about the story or lore for studios?
I'll give it a 4.
4, okay, that's generous.
Yeah, I mean, I'm at a 3. If Boom Mike Operator was a more prevalent character,
got some more fleshed out story for Boom Mike.
If he had a better arc, then sure.
Steven Spielberg, I'll go 4 as well. Just kind of split the uprights. All right, Monster Fighters. Tell us about the lore and story of Monster Fighters.
So the lore in Monster Fighters, and feel free to jump in because I know Garrett knows a bunch too, is that the monsters are trying to collect all 7 of the moonstones so that they can end all of daylight and they can make the monsters go into the minifigure realm and take over.
Eternal darkness.
Eternal darkness is what they want.
Very, very scary.
I know, right? For Lego, it's a pretty dark lore, but I think it's fun, and I think it fits with how you want this.
And you said all how many of the moonstones?
7.
All 7, even though
there's
only 6 fit on the fit on the thing. So what's the 7th moonstone that we're missing here?
This one is
it's the pink one from the graveyard.
The pink one from the graveyard that lives. Yes, it lives over there. And it's a hard one to find, and you really want it.
Trans-pink moonstone with a little zombie hand, like crawling out of it. Yeah,
crawling out of it. It's so good. All the pictures on the moonstones
How much does that go for nowadays?
That piece is around $70, I think.
Yeah.
That's
just for
crazy.
that moonstone?
Yep.
We had a couple of them at some point. I think they sold.
I think so, too.
Yeah, that's insane.
Because it was exclusive to the graveyard, even though this set
had all of them.
Came with every moonstone except that one.
Except that one.
I guess they just couldn't design the play feature to incorporate an odd number. The way that they did it with those Technic modules, it could only fit 6. So.
No, it's because you had to go find it. They couldn't put them all there together easily, because they
but they
never
included every single other one in this set.
Well, this is so they couldn't take over. So there's still that chance that the world isn't taken over by
darkness.
darkness.
The graveyard set also was like the last set released in Monster Fighters.
Yeah, it was like a separate.
And it also was an
limited edition,
to Toys R Us, I think.
I think so.
Oh, was it Toys R Us? Okay.
It might have been.
I know it was definitely a more limited release.
It was like, I think it was only available for like the last year of Monster Fighters.
That's why it's rare and harder to find.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting that they didn't fit all on there, though.
Yep.
I also had no idea about the thing that you mentioned about the Frankenstein being made up of the team members' limbs.
The team members' limbs, yes, right? Isn't that great?
Crazy. That's wild.
See? That's why Garrett, he's got lots of good information to add in all the time. So
one of also the coolest parts about Monster Fighters, in my opinion, is it connects a lot of other themes from this time period.
Right. Yes. If you're a subscriber to the kind of Pixar theory of Lego, basically.
But I mean, it's in some of like the comics and stuff, the old Lego comics and all that. Lord Vampire, collecting all the moonstones and calling in the full moon of, that is what starts Alien Conquest. That's what summons Hypaxis 8 to Earth.
Right. Yeah, there was a lot of internal Lego lore, but a lot of these characters were also references to some real life people. Yeah. I looked it up and said Rodney Rathbone was kind of inspired by Van Helsing. It said in there, and I just lost it.
which I love. They're great.
Yeah, and his name in part came from Basil Rathbone, who was a real life actor from the classic monster movies, which is pretty neat. So
I love Basil.
Lots of tie-ins there. Lots of tie-ins, very fun.
So great.
All right, how do we feel about? Did you have any other lore aspects for us there, Garrett?
That was all I had. Garrett, did I miss anything?
Things?
I mean, that's the basis of it. That's pretty good.
Garrett, how do you feel about the lore and story aspect?
It's a solid 8 for me. 2009 through 2013, I think is some of the best time for classic Lego themes, and like original Lego themes. Yeah, because they were working in tandem. Look, every team was working together.
Yeah, I will also give this an 8. I think I will also give this an 8. I think it was a good story. Again, I'm sure there was more of it in the magazines and stuff that I wasn't aware of, but I think it was a very cool aspect. You had a story that connected all the different sets, and then an end goal that culminated at the sort of flagship set of the wave, which was fantastic. So, all right, how about you, Randy?
I'm gonna go with an 8 too. I think
an 8 as well.
I think they did really well. All the makers of Monster Fighters.
Yep.
Good job.
All right, and lastly, the story and lore aspect from Hidden Side. Garrett, round us out.
Again, I have not played the app. I don't know if that expanded anything further. But from what I know about Hidden Side's lore, Jack and Parker are 2 high schoolers.
Yep.
Pretty normal kids and all that. There's like a ghost world that is like slowly merging with the normal world.
It was more kind of Stranger Things, upside down, sort of parallel universe.
And so Jack and Parker end up being like some of the only like people who are noticing this.
Yeah.
And they essentially become Ghostbusters, but with their iPhones.
Yeah, it was a lot of Ghostbusters. Yeah. It was a lot of Stranger Things. Yeah, for sure.
And Namar, he's trying to whole world into darkness, eternal evil. That whole stuff.
Yep.
In my opinion, Hidden Sides is a fun story, but I mean, if you don't like Ghostbusters, then you're really not gonna like Ghostbusters.
Even the design language.
You don't like Ghostbusters?
It's so corny.
I mean that's fair.
I like the corn.
I would even say the design language of a lot of the ghosts was very Ghostbusters inspired.
Oh, 100%. Totally Slimer.
Yeah, these pieces look very similar to a lot of those ghosts. Which is why Spencer the Ghost Dog was such a standout, because he's literally like the classic like white sheet thrown over.
I mean, they're very basic in my opinion as far as story goes. It is very much possessed person, grab out your Poltergust 3000 Luigi's Mansion,
suck him up. All right, I would say ranking wise, I would probably rank this a little lower at like a 6 based on the original wave, because again there was a story that tied all the sets together, but it was very samey across the sets. It was these people that got possessed, we got to catch the ghosts, the set can turn into the ghost. It wasn't like this where there was a different thing at each set. It was just the same story taking place at different locations. I think they saved it in waves 2 and 3 by introducing the big bad of Namar. So for that reason I will give it a 7. How about you, Randy?
I'm going to go with a 7 as well. I like them quite a bit, but I do agree that it's the same thing in every set. Yeah. But I do think they did a good job, because even having never had the app, I still really like it. So I didn't need the app to enjoy it and to still get all the playability and to enjoy each set with, like, it just didn't matter that it wasn't there. So still good.
All right, how about you, Garrett?
I'm going to be a little lower. I'm at a 6.
6? All right.
If I liked Ghostbusters a little more.
We almost had 7s across the board. We could have hit the jackpot.
We could have.
Yeah, right?
If I liked Ghostbusters a little more, and if we had at some point in any one of these sets gotten a possessed Jack and a possessed Parker figure, if they had no. If we had
I guess we got like the kind of upside down versions where he was like all like blue and gray.
If we had gotten like actual possessed like spirit versions of them, I think that would have been a cool story arc for them to do in this.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity.
That's fair. That's fair. All right. Hang tight, folks. We're going to tally up some points here and declare a winner. All right. The results are in. In third place, no big surprise here, Studios with 76.5.
Oh, where'd that come
from? 76 and 1/2 points. In second place is Hidden Side with 108 points, and the winner, the undisputed best spooky theme, is Monster Fighters with 125 points. So
I hypnotized you guys.
Not all that big a difference, really, in the end. It was relatively close. So
I
very interesting
don't think
to see
we'll
the way
ever
that
get anything like monster fighters
Right.
ever again.
Yeah.
It is very much a product of its time.
Yeah. I'm so glad we got it, though.
There's a certain just charm to it. I don't know if it can be recreated.
It was such an improvement over Studios, and then
Yeah.
they tried to kind of replicate it again with Hidden Side and add a twist, but I think they twisted it in the wrong direction. Didn't
Twisted
quite
it
hit
too
the
hard.
same.
Yeah.
Didn't quite hit the same. Yeah,
No.
exactly. Didn't quite hit the same. So that is about going to do it. There's the undisputed best winner. Now I have one more announcement here. If you're into these very spooky themes, we just released another addition to our lineup of custom kits that we call Monster Mayhem. We have all sorts of monsters and cryptids. We'll link the whole collection here. We've got Mothman, Slender Man, the Demogorgon, the Xenomorph, Bigfoot, Yeti. But the newest addition is the Wendigo monster. So this is a pretty cool monster that's a new addition. You can get this one on atlbrick.com. You can check that out in the Monster Mayhem collection. But thank you all for joining us for this episode of Between the Studs. Thank you, Garrett and Randy, for joining me today and for representing your themes. Congratulations, Randy, for winning. So thank you for watching. Be sure to leave a like on this video. If you're listening on one of our podcast platforms, please leave us a review or some good feedback on there. Consider subscribing or joining our membership tiers on YouTube. We really appreciate it. So thank you for joining us for another episode of Between the Studs. We'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.